Hi ladies, welcome to Branding Your Client Experience, Lesson 1, Crafting Your Workflow. I'm Amanda, the Branding Babe, and I'm very excited to have you join me for this 5-week course. So last week I had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I was having some Wi-Fi issues at my home office, so the live kept cutting in and out. But this is even better because going forward, I'm going to be pre-recording these videos to make sure they're perfect for you. I'm going to be releasing them every Tuesday, and then I'm going to leave a couple of days for you guys to answer questions. So if anything comes up during the video that you're confused about, or if you want to dig deeper on a certain topic, just go ahead and post your question in the comments section of this video, and I will go live later in the week to answer any questions you might have. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so if you all were following along with me last week, you'll have already seen a pretty in-depth preview of my personal branding photography workflow. Here it is right here in Canva. So if you haven't already, please check the comments and the information on this video. There is a link to this template for you to access. I'm going to share it with you, but please, before you start editing, once you access it, please go up to File right here, and then go to Make a Copy. And this is so that not all of you are editing in the same document. And so you all make a copy of it for yourselves to keep and edit on your own. And you'll be able to move around everything in here. Okay, so after you've made a copy of your workflow, or maybe you don't want to make a digital one at all and you'd rather just make one on paper or in your journal, that's totally fine as well. Our whole point is getting you organized and having you think about your entire communication process with clients before they even come in to meet you with an inquiry. This lesson is all about pre-planning the rest of the lessons in this course. Creating a workflow is going to allow us to basically plan everything ahead of time. So in the rest of our lessons, we're going to be refining our website and our contact forms. We're going to be working on our email templates. We're going to be working on prep guides and any designed materials that we send for our clients to inform them before working with us. But this is basically the overall layout of that whole plan. So I really want to get you brainstorming about your workflow process. And then during this lesson, we're going to put it into action, and I'm going to show you how to actually create workflows in HoneyBook that are automated and allow you to communicate with your clients quicker and easier. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through my workflow. If you've already created one and you have a system that you like already, this might be a way to think about it a little more in depth and expand upon it. And maybe if you've already done this, you can skip ahead farther in the video and I can show you how to make your workflows detailed in HoneyBook. All right. So starting at the very first moment I come into contact with a client, my inquiry, what's the very first thing I do? I have an introduction email already prepped that I automatically send out right away. And if the client is interested in moving farther, I try and book a discovery call with them to get them on the phone, walk them through my pricing and my services, and see if we really will be a good match. So then I have all these yes and no options you'll see all over this workflow board. And so if the client doesn't book a discovery call, I schedule a follow-up email just to check and see if they're interested again. And if it turns out they're not interested in booking one, then they're probably not that interested in working with me. So I send this email that I call the Stay Connected email. So it gives them information about my community, information about future events, really just encouraging them to stay connected so they might want to work with me in the future. And so after I do book my discovery call and I actually hop on the phone with the client, this is the time where I really figure out whether somebody wants to book with me. I go through all my pricing in depth. We figure out what type of session is going to work best for them, and I try to get them to pick a package and pick a date on the phone. So here we have the next step, booking. Yes, no, maybe. So after talking to them, if they're on the fence, I send a follow-up booking encouragement email. If they know for sure that I'm too expensive or we're not going to be a good fit, again, I'll send the Stay Connected email. And if we do go ahead and move forward, this is a step in my process where I send my proposal, my contract, and my payment plan. So a proposal is basically what HoneyBook defines as your contract, your invoice and payment plan all put together. So you can send that to clients all at once, or you can send them separately. You could send a contract first and a payment plan second, but I do like grouping them together as a proposal. So that's what I go ahead and send through. And then the next question, has the client signed and paid? If not, I have a reminder email that I send, and if they have, I go ahead and send my confirmation email next. And this is where I prep them for the planning process of my shoot. So I send them a fully detailed prep guide, which is really great. There's lots of information about picking locations, picking outfits, whether or not to hire a makeup artist, basically filling them in on all the nitty-gritty details about what a session is like with me. And then after they've gone through this and thought a little bit more about what they want from the photography experience with me, I have them fill out a questionnaire. So they answer about 10-15 questions about their brand and what they want to get out of the shoot, and then I go ahead and read over that. So I have the option here, has client answered questionnaire? If they haven't yet, I send a little reminder email, and if they have, I go ahead and move on to the next step, and I create a game plan for the session. So I read through the questionnaire, I pick out the most important parts, and I basically create a shot list, and I create a schedule for our session together. And then I actually go ahead and I share that with the client in an email. And then I schedule this thing called a strategy session. So this might not be relevant to everybody else in the group, but this is relevant to my workflow process, extremely relevant, because this is when we go in depth about the session questionnaire and the game plan. And I basically encourage my clients to go a little bit deeper with what they want out of their session. We finalize details, we finalize outfits, timeline, and I answer any questions that they might have about marketing, about social media, about how they want to be using these photos in the future. So my strategy sessions and my strategy calls are a time for clients to get as much information as they want from me about my photography and about working on their brand. And so after we've had our call and we've finalized all our details, I update the game plan that we previously worked on. And then I go ahead and I send that through to the client. And I usually send a little reminder as well the day right before the session, just to freshen them up on details. All right, so this brings me into the post-production process. After my client session, I download and cull all my images, and then I kind of go into two little routes here. Before I get into editing and retouching all of them, I actually pick out a few of my favorites, and I will post a sneak peek to social media with client permission, of course, and send them a little sneak preview of what we've been working on. And I try to do that within the first couple of days after a shoot. And then usually, because my galleries are so big for the branding sessions, especially my long ones are 3 hours long, it does take me a little while longer to edit images. So that process usually takes 1 to 2 weeks. And then I send my clients their finished gallery. I use PixieSet as my gallery delivery system, so everything is on brand. I send them a nice little email with that information about posting to social media and all that good stuff. And then about a week or so after the images have been delivered, I send a follow-up and review email. So I actually have a little follow-up questionnaire that I make in HoneyBook, and I have clients fill that out about their experience with me, and if they want to leave a review, they are totally welcome to. And then I have this question here, is the client a subscription client? So something unique to my workflow process in my business is that I actually offer branding photography subscriptions. So if my client works with me on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, then I do need to get back in touch with them again, and I'll send them a next session reminder email and basically begin this entire process all over again. However, if the client isn't a subscription client, I believe there's always potential for that to happen. So a couple weeks later, I'll send a check-in and maybe a next booking email to see if they're interested in working with me again. And if not, then, I'll send my stay connected email again just to make sure we keep in touch. So that's my workflow. It's pretty lengthy. It's very specific to branding photography, but I wanted to walk you through it just so you understand how you can actually pre-plan everything for your sessions as well, whether you're a photographer, whether you're a yoga teacher and you sell packages to students, whether you're a makeup artist or you're a wedding vendor, Workflows are going to be helpful for any small business or entrepreneur. Pre-planning your communication with clients, pre-writing these emails so that when you do get those inquiries, you have a process you can go to and you have everything already written out. All you need to do is customize the names and any scheduling details for them. So the workflow process has really streamlined my business, and it's taken a lot of day-to-day stress off of me. So I don't have to come up with completely customized answers or packages to everybody who comes through the door. Okay, so now that you've seen my whole workflow, we're going to go into the next section, and I'm going to introduce you to HoneyBook. Okay, ladies, so in my last Facebook Live, I logged into my own personal HoneyBook for the Branding Babe, but this time I'm going to do something a little different. I am helping Danielle of Danielle Sarah Photography set up her HoneyBook account. She just activated it. I've been added as one of her team members, so we are inputting everything she's had over the years. We've imported her clients, we've started to import her workflows, import email templates, import all her pricing. So this process is taking a little while, but the whole benefit of it and the amazing thing about HoneyBook is that you have all these things in one place, everything you could possibly need to manage your client experience and your business is in one location. So for the past couple of years, Danielle has been bouncing back and forth between different softwares. So she uses a few different things right now. She uses Yalla, she uses something called Mockform, she uses FreshBooks, and there's a couple other accounts I could throw in there as well, but basically, she wanted to streamline everything and make it a little faster for her. Even though she does have workflows already planned out, all of these accounts are in different places and it makes it hard to keep everything organized. So I'm going to show you exactly what we've done to transport her current workflow process into HoneyBook. So first, I'm going to show you where Danielle's workflows currently are. She uses a little system here called Yalla. And I've already pulled up the workflow templates for us to take a peek at, and I'm going to open the shoot workflow so you can see basically all the steps she has lined out from start to finish when a client inquires and wants to work with her. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer all of this into HoneyBook, and we are going to set up the email automations and questionnaires and everything that are already in here so that they are automated when we want to check one of these sections off. If you don't currently have a system like Yalla that you use, or maybe you have your workflows on paper, or you just created this document here and this is where your workflow is, we're going to be taking each of these individual steps and we're going to be importing them into HoneyBook. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Okay, so once you've opened HoneyBook, I'm going to want you to go ahead and go to Tools up here. And you're going to go ahead and scroll down to Workflows. Okay, and you'll see I've already imported several different workflows for Danielle. There's a few more we can put in. Danielle is a newborn and family photographer, so she has a couple different workflows. Some of them are fairly similar, but they require a couple of different steps. So I've just duplicated some of them and micromanaged those steps so that we basically have the perfect workflow set up for each type of client she gets in. Now, the things that workflows do require before you go ahead and make these is that you already have your email templates, your questionnaire templates, and your contract templates set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those different pages open so you can see what they look like. So let's hover over Tools again, and then let's go to Templates. I'm gonna try and open this in a new tab. All right. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and go to Email Templates. If you haven't created email templates for yourself at all yet, what we're going to do is we're literally just going to create drafts, and you can label them after each step in your workflow. So you can label them introduction email, discovery call email, booking encouragement email. You can label them, all of these different things here, but for the time being, they won't have any important information. They'll just kind of be empty drafts. And this is for the purpose of getting your workflow set up. And when we do our lesson on emails, that's when you can go back in to your drafts and fill them out. So all your templates will be ready to go. So just go ahead and create the structural templates. So add them one at a time from your workflow. These are some of Danielle's. We have fall outdoor session confirmation, and lots of these are really detailed, guys. So we'll go into that during our email template lesson. Newborn session confirmation. We have requests for review, viewing and ordering appointment. Danielle's an IPS photographer, in-person sales, so she meets with clients in person, and we do ordering sessions, so that's also a part of her workflow. So after you've added in all of your emails that you need for your workflow, I'm going to go ahead and go back, and we're going to do the same exact thing with questionnaires. So any questionnaires that you have, if they're already completed, you can go ahead and add them in. We haven't added in any of Danielle's questionnaires yet. There's just a single template for one. And we're going to do the same thing for templates, for contracts and proposals and all that other good stuff. Right now, just add drafts in so that we can prep your workflow, and we'll go and we'll edit the drafts later as we go through this course. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to workflows after you've created all those templates. And let's get started on creating your first workflow. Even though we already have the newborn session workflow here, I'm going to show you exactly how I created it for Danielle. So let's go over here to create workflow. Okay, and so this is what you should see. You can type directly in here for the title. I'm just going to call this newborn template so it has a different name, and we'll save. You can add a task. So this is something that doesn't require an automation. So this can be like calling gallery or editing gallery. You can send an email, and this is where it will ask you to have automations. You can send a brochure, which is something we'll talk about later as well when we talk about prep guides, and you can send a questionnaire. So I'm going to go ahead and look back at the workflow Danielle's already prepped. This is her newborn session workflow. So the inquiry comes in, she gets the client payment, the email confirmation for session, pre-session phone call, and so on. So we're going to add all of these steps into our HoneyBook account. Okay, so after the inquiry comes in, we need to send an email back. And let's see, where is newborn? Newborn inquiry follow-up. So this is the very first email we're going to send. And we're going to send it after the workflow has activated. And something I like to do, not everybody likes to do this, but I don't like to send anything automatically. I like to approve all of my emails before sending them. This just makes sure that everything is customized for the individual client, and I'm not sending out any inaccurate information. And if everything looks good, all you need to do is check it off, and it'll send pretty quickly, and that I will show you later. Okay, so then let's add the next step. And the next step is also an email, and it's the booking link. So that went in there pretty quickly. So if the client wants to book, we're going to send the link. And I'm not going to send the email automatically, but I want to approve it before sending. And I don't want this step to happen after activating the workflow, but I want it to happen after the previous step is complete. So after you've done the first step, I like to put after previous step is complete for every single step following. Just so I know everything is in order. Okay, so after the booking link, we usually send through a questionnaire, so our booking questionnaire, and this can actually be coupled with the booking link email. So not send automatically, but approve before sending, and after previous step is complete. And I actually am realizing I forgot a step here, so I'm going to go back and show you how to edit since we have the booking link email here coupled with the questionnaire template. I'm going to go ahead and edit this because we do have an inquiry follow-up. Yes, we have a follow-up on inquiry email. So that comes after the newborn one. If we haven't heard anything back, we'll send up another follow-up. And then we'll send the booking questionnaire. So you'll go on through this until you've completed your entire diagram. And then you'll make sure to save it. So always make sure to save throughout, because if you just click back, you haven't hit save, all this progress will be lost. We don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this because we don't need this template. And I'm gonna show you her full newborn session workflow that I've already created, just so you can see all the different steps. Okay, so we've got the inquiry, the follow-up, questionnaire, session confirmation, and as you see, it just keeps going, and we have each step detailed out, and each step is set to complete after the previous step, and all the emails are set to be approved before sending, so they're nice and customized for each client. So that is how you create a custom workflow in HoneyBook. Now I'm going to show you how to actually activate it and apply it to your clients. Okay, let's go to projects. Projects are where all of your current client work is going to be listed. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. We don't have anything in the system yet, so I'm going to create a draft just for the purposes of you guys seeing this. And another thing to take a look at, although this isn't the workflow, this is also a very important thing that is kind of similar to it. It is the project pipeline. So the HoneyBook project pipeline, think of it as a general workflow. It shows you where you're at with all of your projects in the same place. So it'll show you, say you have 7 people who are in the inquiry stage. You'll be able to see that right on the front of your projects page. You'll be able to see how many people have paid their retainer, how many people you're in the editing process for, how many people you're in the product delivery process for, and so on. So think of this as a general workflow, and you can actually edit it if you need to. I like to keep it pretty simple and general because all the details are in the custom workflows that I create. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to apply it to a client. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this project. Okay, so now that this project is all set up, we're going to scroll down here to the little workflow bar. And we're going to add the workflow that applies to the session. So let's say this is a newborn session. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one and click apply. So that workflow will now automatically be applied to this session, and you can see the full detailed list here. Now, there's 2 things you want to keep in mind. If these workflows have been automatically added to a new client, it'll start at the beginning before you've sent anything through to them, and the workflow should be fine to just check off as you go along. However, if you already have a bunch of clients in the system and you were just adding these workflows in, and say you're already halfway through a client project and you apply one of these workflows to it, please, please, please do not check off the steps here, because it will actually approve the emails and questionnaires and whatever else is in here, and it will send those to them. And we don't want to send those out if you're already halfway through the project and they've already received all those emails. So if that's what you end up doing, go ahead and click delete these steps instead. So say you've added this workflow to a client and you're already down here at the download and call images task, please delete the rest of these so that none of the emails go through. And then as you go along, you can check these off. So this is the full workflow that you can see, but I'm going to go ahead and go back to the client project page so we can see what it looks like here. So you can look at the full workflow down here, but this is the actual step it's going to show you. So this is the step we're on, newborn inquiry follow-up. So if you check it, it'll go ahead and send the email. However, if you need to approve it and you want to look at the details, click view and edit. And it will actually pull the email up so you can customize it and you can attach anything you need to it. And you can make sure everything is exactly the way you want it before you approve and send to the client. All right. And the last thing, I'm going to show you how to apply these workflows to future sessions as they come in. So I didn't show you guys this earlier, but here, these all link automatically via the contact form. So in our next lesson, lesson 2, I'm going to be showing you how to create contact forms from HoneyBook and add them to your website. So when somebody checks off newborn session on your website or a birthday or cake smash, and these are the things they want, these workflows will automatically be applied to the genres that you want. So you can go ahead and click on all of these and apply them as you go along. All right, guys, so that is a pretty in-depth look at how the HoneyBook workflow system is. We've gone over how to create your own workflows from scratch. We've gone over how to transport them from different systems. And we've also gone over how to apply them to the actual projects that are already in your system. So next week, we'll be looking at how to impress your clients from the inquiry stage by designing a beautiful website with all the proper educational information about your process on there, and also creating beautiful social media pages so that when your clients do inquire through your website, they already have a good understanding of who you are and what you do. And we'll also be talking about the contact forms through HoneyBook, how to create those, how to import them into your website, and how to get that all set up so you can get your client process moving. All right, guys, it's been great. Please post any questions you have, comment on this video, and I hope to see you guys soon.